Well, welcome back in tonight. We are talking about grandpa and the law. Still have time to speak with you if you like. 855-LAW 1955 is our number. Have two callers on the line with us right now. We're going to turn first to Audrey here in Birmingham. Audrey, good evening to you. We appreciate you calling in to ask your question. Go right ahead if you will.
Yes, hi. The question I had to ask is, my brother and I is the only two kids that my dad has, and I'm the oldest, and he passed away in June, and he did not have a living will, but he had a POA in place prior to that, and I was, he had me over the POA, and the only access he had was his home and car and some other things, and I want to sell the home, but however, my brother, he's not in agreement, and he's not willing to pay the back mortgage since my dad was in the hospital at that time. But like I said, now he passed. So I'm trying to figure out, should I go to probate court, or what can I do in order to
get this settled and addressed?
Yes.
Okay. Tonya, your answer for Audrey.
This is a great question. I was just telling you guys what happens when you do not have a will. If I understand you correctly, there was no will. Your father didn't have a will, correct?
He did not have a will, and to my understanding, the POA is void at this point since he passed.
Right. The POA it becomes invalid once he passes on. Because there was no will, you can't sell the home without going through the probate process. Because if your dad's name was on the home and it was his name alone, you have to go through the probate process.
And when she goes through that process, will that help settle that disagreement?
Well, the probate process is, let me just tell you what that is. That is a court-managed process where your assets are managed through the court. And the judge or you and your brother would decide who would be over the estate and how those assets are distributed. Now, that's not going to solve the disagreement between you and your brother. That's something that you guys are going to have to work out and work through. But the court will direct you as to how to get that home out of your dad's name and into the two of your names. But it's not going to solve the disagreement. So you just have to work it out together, or there may be an opportunity where you can have that force that sale, or petition the court to force that sale.
With her being the older child, does she automatically become the lead decision? No, it's not like that.
No, she does. No, it doesn't work like that. But again, it's going to be contentious. But you guys will have to decide if you will be the personal representative, or if your brother will be the personal representative, or if there's someone else you think that would better serve that estate. Maybe an aunt or a sibling or someone else to help you manage this process and keep your relationship intact.
Tonya, tell the folks about what intestate succession is and what that means, and how you lose the power to control your own assets at some point.
Intestate process is where there is no will. And throughout that process, the court manages the distribution of those assets. And that process could be lengthy, that process could be costly, but you would more than likely better be served by enlisting the help of an attorney. And once the court becomes involved, you no longer can decide where everything goes. There's a list of rules that states how much the siblings get, how much the spouse gets, how much the parents get. There are different rules to help decide that. It's no longer in your hands.
So one last question, because we have another caller. In this situation, are you saying though that because there is no will, it has to now go, what if she and her brother come to an agreement on that house?
It still has to go through the probate process, because it's still in their father's name.
Gotcha.
And it has to be taken out of his name in order for it to be sold.
Excellent.
But the father loses control over what happens, and that's the unfortunate thing. Why you need a will.
Why you need a will.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's why you need a will.
Excellent. Excellent.